I call to order the meeting of the mayor and the council. Agenda for November 28th, 2022, regular meeting, 7 p.m. Could we have a moment of silence, reflection for all those in all the different shootings and violent areas in the United States and throughout the world, especially for the children who are caught in the middle of all these things? Ready? Salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Statement of compliance with the Open Public Meeting Act. This meeting complies with the Open Public Meeting Act by notification on January 7th, this location, date, and time, to the town news and the record, and by posting of the same on the municipal bulletin board and the borough website, and filing notice of the same with the municipal clerk. Notice of this meeting via the October 7th, 2022 Sunshine Law contains the date, time, and access information that was sent to the record in town news and has been posted on the bulletin board and borough website. And that was the correct one, right? Good, okay. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilwoman Bastidt?
Here.
Councilman Kanigo is running late. Council President Kaufman?
Here.
Councilwoman Kinsella?
Here.
Councilwoman Malalari?
Here.
Councilwoman Montesano Cohen?
Here.
Mayor Papaleo?
Here, excellent. All right. So the first order of business is to go into closed session. Could I have a motion from Councilwoman Kaufman and a second from Councilwoman Bastidt to go into closed session for 22-330 resolution, closed docket 22-11/28-1, attorney-client privilege shared service agreement.
So moved. Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
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 Are there any opposed or any abstentions? Hearing none, for the public's benefit, before we leave, we're going to go into closed session. We should be about 30 minutes, and then we will return. All right. Council, you need to switch from the current Zoom setting to closed session 1. All right. First of all, I'd like to thank the public for their patience as we were in closed session. It was much longer than I thought it would be. We need to reopen the meeting. And then we would do approval of minutes, and then we would open for comments on any item on the agenda. And the softball field is on the agenda, and I know that there are members of the public here who want to make statements or ask questions, and they could do so at that time. All questions and statements would be through the chair, and that would be through me. Okay, could I have a motion and a second to return to open session?
So moved. Second.
Roll call.
Councilwoman Bastidt?
Here.
Councilman Kanigo?
Here.
Council President Kaufman?
Here.
Woman Kinsella?
Here.
Councilwoman Malalari?
Here.
Councilwoman Montesano Cohen?
Here.
Mayor Papaleo?
Here. Okay, item number 6, approval of the minutes. Could I have a motion and second from, let's see, Councilman Kanigo and Councilwoman Montesano Cohen to approve the minutes of the mayor and council regular meeting in closed session of November 14th.
Moved.
Second.
If any member of council needs to abstain for the closed or the open, they may do so when they are polled. Please poll the council.
You want me to do a roll call?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Oh, no, wait, this is by consent. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Does anyone need to abstain or say no to any of them? All right. Could I have a motion from Councilwoman Kinsella and a second from Councilwoman Malalari to open to the public on any item on the agenda?
So moved. Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
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 Okay, Councilwoman Kaufman is the moderator of our Zoom meeting. So she's going to explain how you might raise your hand, ask a question, or ask for a comment, or make a comment.
So if anyone would like to speak, just raise your hand and I will allow you to do so. There's a little raise hand icon on the bottom of the screen.
They can also hit *9 if they're on the phone, right?
I don't see anyone on the phone.
Okay.
So,
They may not be here at this point. They might have,
left. Right. No way for me to tell that.
well,
Uh,
what we can do is, we have another
Reopen
open public session. And so for right now, why don't we close to the public and then we can always come back if we see some participants, okay? Could I have a motion to close to the public on any item on the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed, any abstentions? Okay, appointments and personnel change. Could I have a motion from Councilwoman Bastide and a second from Councilwoman Kaufman to the following? Approve the minutes of the mayor and the council regular meeting and close, no, I'm sorry, apologize. Approve the separation of Albert Carpenter, crossing guard effective November 17, 2022. Approve the salary increase of Ann Dodd, Borough Clerk, from 90,000 to 93 per the employment contract effective November 29, 2022.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
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 Are there any opposed or any abstentions? Hearing none, we will move forward. Item number 9, monthly reports. There is a report from the Library Board of Trustees, November 2022. Okay, we come to item number, resolution 22-331, amend 2022 capital budget. Our business administrator, Ms. Apertola, if you would speak to it.
Yes, tonight we have a supplemental bond ordinance. And in order to introduce and at the December 12th meeting, adopt the bond ordinance, we do have to amend the 2022 capital budget because these items were not in the original budget adopted back in April.
Very good. Could you explain to the public briefly what these items are and why we're doing it?
Yes, these items involve some various items. One is to pay for the emergency construction and repairing the retaining wall on Valley Road that happened a couple of months ago. The other is for new equipment and machinery in the fire department for water rescue and importantly, their self-contained breathing apparatus compressor that refills the stop pack bottles ceased to function. It was over 30 years old, so that needed to be replaced. The other item is to supplement funding for the drainage improvements at Voorhees Avenue, as that project came above original budgeted estimates. And the last item is supplemental funding for the Borough Hall repair project, as well as if there's any funding left over for the DPW garage and salt shed replacement.
All right. Do we need a motion in a second, Ms. Apertola? It looks like we do.
Yes, you do.
All right.
And a roll call.
Could I have a motion from Councilwoman Monsanto Cohen and a second from Councilman Kanigo for resolution 22-331, amend 2022 capital budget?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. It is open for debate. Is there debate? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Councilwoman Bastide,
Yes.
Councilman Kanigo,
Yes.
Council President Kaufman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Kinsella,
Yes.
Councilwoman Malalari,
Yes.
Councilwoman Montesano Cohen.
Yes.
All right. We are now at the first reading ordinance. Could I have, when I finish reading, a motion from Councilwoman Malari and a second from Councilwoman Kaufman. A motion that follow, excuse me. Motion that the following ordinance be introduced and passed on the first reading, setting December 12th, 2022 at 7 p.m. or as soon thereafter as the matter can be heard, as the date and time, and the Zoom as a virtual platform for the hearing on said ordinance. Since this is a first, we're going to do them together. Is that still in order, Mr. Sarlo? Good. So ordinance 22-16, bond ordinance to authorize the making of various public improvements and acquisitions of new additional or replacement equipment and machinery in and by the borough and for the borough of River Edge, the county of Bergen, state of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $3,870,000 to pay for the cost thereof, to make a down payment, to authorize the issuance of bonds to finance such appropriations, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of issuance of some bonds. And ordinance 22-17, an ordinance amending the revised general ordinance of the Borough of River Edge, Chapter 33, entitled Fire Department. Could I have a motion and a second?
So moved. Second.
Okay, Lizette, if you could just speak briefly to 22-16 and 22-17.
Well, 22-16, I'd covered in explaining the capital budget amendment, the purpose of the bond ordinance for Valley Road project, the Voorhees project, the items that the fire department needs, and the Borough Hall repair project. 22-17 are various updates in the section of the fire department that involved membership, disciplinary hearings, reporting requirements, reimbursements, and the junior firefighter program.
Okay, this is open for debate. Is there debate, comment, or questions? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilwoman Reed,
Yes.
Councilman Kanigo,
Yes.
Council President Kaufman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Kinsella,
Yes.
Councilwoman Malalari,
Yes.
Councilwoman Montesano Cohen.
Yes.
Okay, could I have a motion from Councilwoman Montesano Cohen and a second from Councilwoman Bastide to the following resolutions? Resolution 22-332 through Resolution 22-340.
So moved.
Second.
All right, this is open for debate, for inquiry, is there any debate or inquiry, or does anyone wish to hold out something that has currently been moved?
Ma'am,
Go ahead. And
I should put my yellow hand up. Sorry about that.
Oh,
22-337. Our rec director, our interim rec director is looking into getting another space at less money for SCORE. So would it be possible to pull that out for the next meeting?
Business Administrator Apertola.
Yeah, it could be tabled and for consideration at the next meeting.
Okay, so let's amend the motion. Could we first need to table this. Could I have a motion and a second to amend to table 22-337 to the next meeting?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. It is open for debate. Does anyone wish to debate tabling 22-337? All in favor of tabling 22-337, please say aye.
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 Are there any opposed or any abstentions? The motion is unanimous. So could I have a motion and second to amend to move resolutions 22-332 through 22-336, 22-338 through 22-340? Anyone?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there debate, comment, or any other item that needs to be addressed before voting? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Is there any opposed or any abstention? Hearing none, it is unanimous. Council President Kaufman, you are also our finance chair. Would you please move 22-341 and one member of the finance committee second it?
Payment of bills at a regular meeting of the Mayor and Council of the Borough of River Edge, County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, held on November 28th, 2022. Be it resolved that the Mayor and Council of the Borough of River Edge approve the following expenditures. Current fund, $811,364.21. Capital fund, $88,240.74. Animal Control Fund, $403. Developers Escrow Fund, $5,257.50. Recreation Trust Fund, $230. So moved.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed, any abstention? Hearing none, it is unanimous. It is for discussion, 2022 Seni Die 2023 reorganization meeting, in-person meeting. Ms. Abertola, I believe this is your item.
No, that is the Borough Clerk's item, Ms. Dodds.
Ms. Dodd.
Yes, so Councilwoman Montesano Cohen reached out to me to discuss the possibility of holding these meetings in person. And she suggested the use of the library for doing so. I reached out to Dara O'Connor, the library director, to see whether or not the space was available, and he confirmed that it was. And I went earlier today to meet with him to look at the meeting room. It can hold, with having tables set up for the mayor and council, about a little over 30 people in the audience. My main concern was the recording of the meeting, and he does have a flat screen TV with a laptop where we can run Zoom, and the participants, remote participants, would be up onto the television. And we ran a test with Lizette earlier today, and we could hear her perfectly. And with the camera on the laptop, she could see the entire room. My concern is, though, if there was more people in the room than just me and Dara, whether we could be heard. So if council wanted to proceed, I could look into purchasing.
So first we have to answer a legal question. Tom, this would be a hybrid, and I think our previous exploration to this was not, that hybrid's not permitted.
Yeah, it's not, you need to do either one or the other. You really shouldn't be doing the hybrid. I mean,
I thought that had changed. I thought you reported that hybrid was permitted, but the council had to be in person. Maybe I have that wrong.
I'll go back and look for you. You know, it's changing
Or-
so much, so I'll find out. If
Or
that's
what-
what the wishes of the council, I'll report back. If
Well, one more thing before the council weighs in. Pastor Sweet told me that he has a very large auditorium that could handle a large group. If Councilman Montesano Cohen and Councilman-elect Benson would like for us to, like for the clerk to reach out to Pastor Sweet and look at that space, that would have to be, though, not a hybrid, but a fully in-person, and some sort of means of recording the meeting would need to take place. Our choices are, Tom Sorrell's going to look into it, but our choices are to continue to look into just the library, look into the library and the Reformed Church, I believe, Pastor Sweet, or for it to stay virtual. What is the council's wish? Should we look into all three? Should we look into the first two options, and if not, keep it to third, or only look into one option? What is the council's thought? Just unmute yourself and let us know.
I make a motion.
Okay, to look into the current, either one of those, Lisa, are you comfortable with that?
Yeah, either of the venues. I mean, I appreciate Anne's being proactive and going, speaking and testing and everything. I was of the understanding that we could actually have an exception, but maybe Tom, you can tell us. And, you know, the reorg can take place, we give a notice, and then we'll go back to our regular programming via Zoom. But I wanted to at least explore doing what is a monumental event, especially for Barry, in person.
You'd hate to, I mean, if you do it the hybrid, you just want the mayor and council in person and then everyone else, the public, or are you gonna limit the public to the max of 30 and then the rest need to go hybrid? How do you want to do that?
I
Because you'd hate to shut people off and say, okay, you have to go home now and go onto Zoom. Unless you're just gonna say mayor and council is gonna be in public.
I believe there was a local finance notice that came out in 2021 that said if you were meeting in person, you had to allow the public in person. I can send that to you to look at. Maybe that's changed though.
Listen, let me give you a third option, which I remember. We did the swearing in of the police officers. Remember we did that outside? We could do something similar where the meeting would be virtual, except for the swearing in. Tom, did the rules change to prohibit that, or could we do that?
I'm sorry, Mayor, you want to do the swearing in? You want to do that in person and then adjourn and go to the meeting via Zoom?
That's what we
Yes.
did with all the police
Yes.
promotions.
Yes.
All right, so Lisa, why don't we amend your motion to look into all three options and see, and then we'll come back at the next meeting and make a decision. How about that?
Sounds good. Thank you.
Could I have a second? Oh, Barry, are you comfortable with that? Yes, no, maybe so? Oh, thumbs up. Okay. All right, could I have a second to that motion?
Second.
Is there debate? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed, any abstentions? Okay. This takes us to new business. Is there any new business? This takes us to old business, girls softball field.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry, my notes are all over the map. I did have Lisette asked me to introduce this in a new business. So I'll do it now if that's okay.
Yeah.
I think we all received a proposal to allow registered nurses to have their own license plates. There is a bill that was put forward and a few municipalities have agreed to it. So we as a municipality have to agree, and I believe that we would need an ordinance or resolution to say that we are in agreement with that. I think we have an enormous amount of registered nurses in our town that do a phenomenal job. I thought that it was a beautiful bill, and I would like this council to consider that if they wish.
So Lisa, correct me if I'm mistaken. What you're looking for is for the council to endorse a state or a statute to allow this sort of license plate exception.
Correct. Endorse. That's the key word. Thank you, Mayor.
No worries. I'm kind of used to this after 12 years. Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Is there debate? Hearing none, all in favor of a resolution being drafted to support this state law, this state proposed statute, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstention? Okay. Old business, girls softball field. So I don't know if the public is back in. We're going to open to the public in a minute. I am free to say that we are still negotiating with the Board of Education, that the council has authorized a select body to go and do a counter proposal. The board has given us a proposal to give us a counter proposal. So we will, now the council has read the board's proposal, has given direction, which of course is confidential because it's negotiation, and that myself, Councilwoman Kinsella, our BA, and our borough attorney will be going to meet with, we're going to find a time to meet with the Board of Education and discuss the terms and maybe some counter proposals. So we're moving ahead. We're moving ahead. However, we did open to the public before, and there was kind of a whole list of people, but nobody raised their hands. So I think it would be appropriate to open to the public on this issue again. Could I have a motion to open to the public on any item on the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
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 Councilwoman Kaufman, you are a moderator.
Yes, so Dan Sansevier, you can speak.
Hi, how are you? Thank you. Dan Sandsver, 564 Elm Avenue. I'd just like to read something here as the Vice President of Regal and on behalf of the Regal Board. I would like to thank the Mayor and Council, Interim Rec Director, Recreation Committee, Superintendent, Board of Education for engaging in discussions about the much-needed upgrades to our Roosevelt Fields. Regal also appreciates all the support received from the many organizations in River Edge that acknowledge the Roosevelt Fields need the upgrades for our female athletes. We do appreciate that you guys getting together with the Board of Education. A couple of questions that we have are what are the updates on any of the financial costs or the estimates pertaining to the field usage? The Mayor and Council, I believe you answered that already. You're going to have a counter proposal to the Board of Education pertaining to the interlocal and shared services agreement. And we'd like to know if the Mayor and members of the Council do support spending money either through the open spaces or other grants to improve the Roosevelt Fields for our female athletes. Thank you, and we'll listen.
Okay, Dan, Mr. Sarlo, to what degree can we answer those questions, given the fact that we're in negotiations? Because we do want to be as transparent as possible, but of course, we are restricted by the fact that we're currently negotiating.
Yeah, I believe you can release the cost estimates. That's public information. I don't have an issue with that.
Ms. Abertola,
And
go ahead. Anything else, Mr.
no,
Sarlo?
I believe the resident was asking if, I believe you would be supporting Regal at the fields, if I caught that third one, but we could ask for clarification from the resident. But I believe cost was the main issue, beliefs in the estimates, and no issues there. They're public.
Lizette, if you could just summarize the two engineering costs, one's with turf and the one without.
Sure, give me one moment to find that file.
Now, Mr. Sarlo, while she's doing
Yes.
that, would it, considering that we are countering the proposal, I think we could say that we are in support of the Roosevelt Field at this point.
You are in support of using the Roosevelt Fields if you can agree to the terms of an interlocal agreement with the Board of Ed. Correct. I believe that's, you're exploring it. Absolutely. You want to be in support of it if you weren't exploring it, so.
For sure. So Dan, are you still there?
Yes, I am still here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay,
So,
so I guess to piggyback on that, Mr. Mayor, is I know the Board of Ed had put out publicly what their terms would be, or what they've suggested to, or what they'll suggest to the Mayor and Council as far as the 15-year agreement and the waive of the 90-day clause that has been in there, or that has been a point of contention. Does the board, I'm sorry, the Mayor and Council, do you guys support that? And are in agreement with those preliminary terms of the Board of Ed? And I guess to clarify, another question I have is, what would be the time frame that you guys are going to be meeting with the Board of Ed? What do we look like? We do have registrations and stuff coming up pretty soon, and we need to be on those fields in a couple of months.
Mayor, if I can answer the first
Sure.
one, I'm not a big fan of negotiating through the public. I just don't feel that's the proper thing to do. So if the board wants to throw out their terms, and they certainly can do that, we can't prohibit them. But I'm just not a big proponent, and this is, again, my negotiating style of saying if we are and we aren't in favor of it at this point in time. I think we have a counter proposal I could tell you that we're going to go back to them with. And I'd prefer we leave it at that at this point in time.
Lizette, do you have the figures?
Yes, I'll give the figures. The
But I'm
cost,
sorry, Lizette, I'm sorry, I didn't answer. The third one is, yes, I think we need to expeditiously meet with the board as
Yeah.
possible because of knowing that the seasons will be upon you very quickly. So, sorry, Lizette.
sure, no problem. The estimate base for the total cost of the project, the documents can be Oprah for the line items. But taking together, all the requests, the infield work needed, bleacher relocation, irrigation and drainage, dugouts, batting cage, scoreboards, and maintenance, including contingency and soft costs, which are the professional fees. The total cost is $706,247.52. Now, estimates were drawn up only on drainage if there were artificial turf laid out. Concept one, turfing the entire field for the site work, turf field construction, and drainage only. This doesn't include like the batting cages or the scoreboards and whatnot. Including the soft costs would be $1,793,517.00. The turfing of the infield only would be $507,408.00. And the turfing of the outfield only would be $1,218,000. And those are the costs. And like I said, if anybody wants the actual line item descriptions, they would have to file a request for the documents under the Open Public Meetings Act with the Borough Clerk.
Dan, do you have a follow-up question?
No, I don't. I believe, we do have support for this project, obviously, like I stated before. As far as the questions on my end have been answered, I'm sure other members of the public, other support groups, and other members of Regal especially probably would have some more questions to piggyback off mine. I do appreciate you guys answering it. Again, as soon as we can get this, sooner we can get this done and move this along and get the girls on these nice fields, the better. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you very much. And if you need anything from Regal and anything you need, you know where to find me.
All right, Dan, great.
Next up is Kevin Sabella. 1 second. Kevin, you can speak.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Kevin.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity here. Kevin Sabella, 725 Fifth Avenue, River Edge. Thank you, Mayor and Council, for allowing me a couple minutes here. Just listening to Dan's questions, he answered a lot, but basically, I just wanted to thank you for exploring this option. I've been a resident, grew up here, been a resident here now for 45 years. Played baseball down at Memorial. Glad to see those batting cages and the improvements down there. And, not gonna lie, with 2 young kids and 2 young daughters and coaching in town and being in education for over 20 years and a coach, I'm very excited that it sounds like like Mr. Sarlo said, at least you're exploring these options. Looking at what other towns surrounding towns are doing to their ball fields. It seems like the time is now for us to do so. I believe that it's going to be, it's no lie, it's a main attraction coming down Continental Ave there, and spicing up those fields along with the dugouts is going to be great for our girls. I'm glad it's supported by other people in town, as far as the Blackhawks, the Little League Baseball, the tree commission. So I was glad to hear about that as well. So I just wanted to applaud you. I hope this goes through. I know it'll be a big home run for our community here, especially our girls. And, I just thank you again for exploring it. I hope it goes through. So thank you.
You're welcome, Kevin.
Okay, next up is Ryan Gibbons.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
Ryan, go ahead.
Hi, Ryan Gibbons, 223 Madison Avenue. Again, I'd just like to follow up on Dan and Kevin, to thank the mayor and council for spending the amount of time that you're spending in getting this done. I know a lot of effort and time has gone into this over the years. And, as someone with a daughter who plays on these fields, and goes to other towns, I see the discrepancy of what we offer for our town and what other towns are offering. And I think it's imperative to do this not only for the girls that play in Regal and Blackhawks who use those fields, but just the improvements that are required, for keeping up. I don't want to say keeping up with the Joneses, but, keeping up with other towns and what they're doing. This is a fantastic town, and, I would love to see this project happen as expeditiously as possible. We do have safety concerns on those fields that have been well documented, with the hardness of the field and just the sun that the kids are exposed to, when they're playing these sports. But, just want to show my support for this. I did just want to clarify the first number that Ms. Apertola mentioned. So the $706,000.
Yeah.
That was for what Regal had, or what Recreation essentially had proposed with sprinklers, coverings, and scoreboard. Is that what that generally covered?
Correct.
Okay, so that was the proposal that we had made. That's the numbers that you had come up with.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so again, just, thank you for your time. I really hope that everyone on our mayor and council are supporting this, because this is something that our town came together and, I believe everyone on July 11th meeting was saying that the girls deserve a good, solid place for them to play. And, I'm hoping that that's still resonating with everyone on the board. So thank you for your time.
Okay, is there anyone else?
That's it.
All right. we'll
Oh,
give you just-
wait, I take that back. Take that
Okay.
back. Sorry about that. 1 second. Claire Gibbons.
Thank you. My name is Claire Gibbons, resident of 223 Madison Ave. And similar to what others have also shared in support of this project, I'm a mother and sideline cheerleader for my daughter Emma and her teammates who benefited from the Regal organization promoting access to girls' athletics while teaching invaluable life lessons. One of Emma's favorite sports, of course, is softball. And as I cheer her on at home or away games and practices, there definitely are striking differences in our field conditions and training equipment that we see both within our Little League and softball fields, as well as what other towns have to offer. So needless to say, I was thrilled to hear in July of the council's desire to bring key stakeholders together and more recently engage in new discussions with the Board of Ed in an effort to bring action to what has been referenced as many years in the making. And it's fantastic news to hear tonight that the council is in support of these improvements through these ongoing negotiations with the Board of Ed, as well as so many of our different community groups working in collaboration toward a united solution. And I hope that with our current key stakeholders and community voice, we can turn our existing fields into a safer, higher quality playing experience for our children and facilities to further develop their skills. I look forward to our mayor and council and various parties being able to effectively partner with our Board of Ed and swiftly bring forth change and needed facility improvements with these reasonable solutions that are being proposed. And also, just as we approach the winter holidays, is it maybe too much to make that holiday wish for those field improvements to be expedited for the spring softball season? Thank you all for your consideration.
Thank you, Claire.
Thank you. Next up is Dean Rayside.
Hi, Dean Rayside, 224 Madison Avenue. Just wanted to thank the mayor and council for continuing to talk about this issue and for your support. I just had a couple of questions that maybe you could answer. I'm not sure if you could. My first question would be, would Regal or the other stakeholders have a say in what equipment goes into the facility, like the specific dugout covers that we had asked for, the specific scoreboards and batting cage, things like that? Or is that stuff that the town is going to pick without our consultation? That would be my first question. Do you want to answer that and then come back, or?
It's early days. Certainly, I think you can proffer an opinion. The council, it is the council's sole decision by law. But certainly, what you suggest you'd want, we'd like to hear. Then we'd look at the costs, and we would certainly get opinions from our engineer, our DPW, as well as ask the board if they're comfortable with it. I would say generally, we would be open to that, but in practicality, would you get what you asked for? Not necessarily.
Speaking about the costs, I guess, when I myself, as a private citizen, priced out those objects, like I said, a scoreboard, dugout covers, and a batting cage, it didn't really come close to the 700,000 figure that I heard before. So I guess I'm just curious as to what brings the cost of that project up so much.
Lizette, I don't know if you can answer any of that. I certainly can't.
What is required to install these components are infrastructure improvements, whether it's grading the dugouts, there has to be a retaining wall. So as the engineer came up with the estimates, it's not just the equipment, it is the corresponding infrastructure improvement to support this equipment that is required for safety reasons. And additionally, we could put in bids a description, but under the local public contracts law, we cannot dictate a specific brand only. We can only put brand name or equivalent, but the way the law is written, we have to award a contract to the lowest responsive and responsible bidder.
Follow-up question, Dean?
Yeah, and then I guess my last question is, it seems as though, throughout every conversation that's gone back and forth about this issue, it always comes back to the interlocal agreement that you said you're negotiating with the board. I guess my question is, like, what makes you confident this time that this is going to go well?
Well, that's the point of negotiation, and the point our borough attorney made. You don't negotiate in public. That's not what you do. The board has chosen to do that to some degree. That's their choice. We want to be able to maintain a professional negotiation. We want to, sit down with them and say, okay, thank you for your initial proposal of an interlocal. These are some of the things that we might need to tweak or might need to change. And if it doesn't go well, then we come back to the council, we come back to the public, and we say, well, it didn't go well. And what are we going to do from here? I'm hoping that it will go well. I'm hoping that the board will be open to, negotiating these final elements. And I'm hoping that we might be able to do something soon. But that's what negotiation is. Both sides has to be comfortable with the agreement, and then it has to be signed off.
Okay. Yes. Thank you so much for that. I do just want to echo, there's a lot of time and effort that goes into making those fields safe and playable for the girls, especially in the summertime when it can become rock hard. So, I do hope that the council understands the hours that are put in by volunteers of this program to make it safe for the girls. And, I just hope that you would keep that in mind when you are negotiating these things and thinking about the timeline here with that, which you've already addressed. So I just wanted to throw that in there one more time. So thank you again. I appreciate it.
You're welcome, Dean. Thank you for coming tonight. Michelle, anybody else? I think so.
Yes, next up is Brianne Etter. Brianne? Just unmute yourself.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead.
Okay. I apologize. I'm at a Harry Potter Forbidden Forest, so I'm trying to be on the meeting while at an experience. Brianne Etter, 711 Elm Avenue. Being on the subcommittee of helping getting this going, I just have more of a statement. I want to make sure that we try to expedite what we were doing now at the school, just as fast as we were trying to expedite that park project that was coming along. I know that there are more things involved in this than there was, you know, at that project. But I would just like to see you guys try and push this through faster. Regal really needs this. We really need the fields. We really need the stuff for our girls. So please try to expedite and get this done as fast as you can.
Okay, thank you, Brianne.
Thank you.
Next up is Tom Cook.
Yes, good evening. Thank you. Tom Cook, 98 Lakeview Street. Recently elected president of the River Edge Little League, and wanted to make a statement that we've had very constructive conversations with the entire Regal board on the heels of the July 11th meeting, in which Mr. Mayor, you stated this was very much rooted in fair and equitable. And both boards are very much in support of assuring that regardless of gender, that the kids have a very similar experience, regardless of where it is they end up playing in the town of River Edge. And one question I think I have on the backs of this shared agreement, and you've been stating it, that it's public negotiation from the Board of Education. However, it's been brought to light that there has not been an agreement for an extended period of time. And from one group, it's the other holding back. And now from the other group, it's the other holding it from being completed. If there is not an agreement for a shared space, do we have the potential to lose access to the fields altogether at Roosevelt and Cherry Hill?
I don't think so, Tom. We haven't had an updated agreement, but we've been using the fields. They've been, we've been supporting them with plowing and things like that. There was a period where we didn't have a formal agreement, where we still plowed their driveways and their parking lots at 3 inches or 4 inches. It's something that I would find impossible to believe that the board would simply say, okay, we don't have an agreement. An agreement is a good thing. Agreement helps us with insurance. Agreement helps us with liability. Agreement also clarifies our roles and what we're going to be doing. But Mr. Sarlo, I don't think we'd lose unless the board told us we couldn't use their fields.
Yeah, it would be a really bad public perception part on the board if they chose not to have their own children not use the fields because there's not an agreement. But I think we're going to clean that up one way or the other and make sure we have an agreement whether this goes forward or not.
Tom, a follow-up question?
No, I think just one final statement and one ask, I think, on behalf of the Little League board and hopefully I can speak on behalf of the Regal board is that we put kind of the past behind us. And we look into the future and we most importantly do what is in the best interest of the future of our town. And that's lies in the hands of our children that are the ones that will truly benefit from any decisions that are made on a go-forward basis.
Great, thank you, Tom.
That's it.
All right, we'll just give it 20 seconds to make sure. All right, could I have a motion to close to the public on any item on the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
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 All right, so we have table resolution 22-281. Lizette, I don't think we're ready to move on this, right?
No, we didn't receive updated information on the performance bond, whether we have to refund or approve a transfer.
All right, before you do the construction project update, is there any farmer's market update that we want to do? Because that might be briefer.
Yes, I'm be happy to do that. So there was a meeting of the Farmers Market Committee a few days ago. Ort Farms, our farmer from this year, has agreed to come back next summer, excuse me, from May 25th through October 5th. So that would be a 19-week season. And we looked at what some other markets are doing and tentatively thinking about sending out letters shortly, if it's okay with the council, to do a season from May 25th to October 5th and have payments done either for half the season with a 1-week discount or the entire season for a 2-week discount, and no weeklies. And then Lisette Apertella, our BA, had suggested that we would allow any vendors in from this summer, and all new vendors would have to meet the insurer's requirements for insurance.
Okay, any questions from any member of council? Lizette, if you can give us the construction update.
The only update I have is on the Borough Hall repair project. Last week, offices such as Borough Clerk's office, land use, assessor, and finance department were moved over to the public safety side. And it was a little bit of executing, I think, Plan Y, because the judiciary mandated that courts return in person. So the plans that we had with using the courtroom fell by the wayside, but it was accomplished. And then we also moved some equipment, filing cabinets off-site that we could not have any room to store at Borough Hall. So tremendous amount of gratitude to our DPW director, Jason Melito, our buildings and ground foreman, Rick Steven, and the entire DPW crew. Since late spring, we've been mobilizing, planning, working on this. And so tomorrow, the contractor will be mobilizing. They already have the building department already approved the demolition permit as well as the asbestos abatement permit. So it's finally starting.
Very good. And many thanks to you and to Jason and to everyone who's been really, every member of our staff who's been so accommodating. Now, just to clarify for the public's benefit, the building department is down at the River Edge train station in the old Shade Tree building. Everyone else is in the public safety building, which is above the police department. And some are coming in hybrid, and some are like the nurse is doing it by appointments. Is that correct?
Well, all the other departments that have either hybrid or in the public safety building are accessible by appointment, just to make sure that the staff is there, the equipment is functioning, but more importantly, that with the work going on, it is safe for the public to come in.
Okay, great. Michelle.
Mayor, can you just confirm that the council gives consent for me to send letters out to our current roster of vendors?
Yes, could we jump back? Does the council, could I have unanimous consent? Let me do it a different way. Is there objection to Michelle? Is there any objection to Michelle moving forward with the vendors as described? Hearing none, so approved. All right, any questions about construction? All right. We need to open up one more time. Could we have a motion to open up to the council on any subject?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, if there's any member of public who would like to speak to any issue, make a comment, this is your time. Please raise your hand. Okay, could I have a motion to close to the public?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, are there any council comments? Yes, Indira.
Just want to remind everyone, the public, that the annual holiday lighting is this Saturday at the Borough Hall lawn at 5:30 with Santa and hot chocolate to follow in the fire station. And one other thing is that a shout out to Michelle Caridi, Chief Caridi, and Michelle Ryan, who decorated a tree at in Vanson by the ice rink. And if you have, they're judging it on our tree lighting day on December 3rd, unfortunately, at the same time at 5:30. The judges will be going around looking at all the trees from each town. But we are right there when you stand on the queue to get in. So, and it's a beautiful tree. They did a fantastic job.
I put it on the mayor's Facebook page so people can see it, and thanked all of them, including yourself, for everything that you do with that. Anyone else? All right, if you're still thinking, I'll give you a moment. I like to read letters of thanks regarding our police officers. I have letters of thanks regarding our shade tree. This is from Jean G. I'm not going to give her last name. She lives on Oak. Hi, Liz. I just wanted to thank you so much for a quick response. When I came home, I was pleasantly surprised and saw the sunny Valley Maple planted. Looks like it's going to be a great tree. Thanks. I hope it does well. This is from Liz V on Kensington. She said, yes, Liz, once I looked closely in the dark, I saw the tree tag saying it was a cherry tree. I texted you from the car after I saw the tree was planted there. We love our new sweet addition. And of course, there are some pictures of planting also at the high school, I believe. So we want to thank our Shade Tree Commission for the great job they did in getting grants and planting this year. Any other member of council wish to make a comment before I ask for a motion to go into closed session? Okay, let me switch to my other screen. Here we go. Okay, could I have a motion from, I don't know who, one of you, okay, after I read the following. A motion to go into closed session, exclude the public resolution 22-342, closed session docket 22-11/28-2, attorney-client privilege lease modification request, and 22-11/28-3, collective bargaining, collective negotiation update. Now, before we go, I don't know about you guys, but I need a few minutes. So I'm thinking we can reconvene at 9:05. Is there an objection to us reconvening at 9:05? Seeing none, could I have a motion and second to go into closed session?
So second.
Okay, for the public's benefit, we will not be returning to open session. When we finish closed session, we'll be finishing the day. So we will be adjourning the public meeting now. Could I have a motion to adjourn the public meeting?
So moved.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, I'll see you all in 5 minutes. Thank you all for all that you do.